Welcome to the podcast, folks. Today, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of fueling for performance, with a focus on how proper nutrition drives success both in sports and everyday training. Oh yes, there's so much to unpack here. I'm especially intrigued by how the guide lays out both macronutrient breakdowns and timing strategies for meals. Exactly. It's like, if you think about it, carbohydrates are the master fuel for athletic performance. They're essentially the battery that powers our muscles, from light activities right up to those intense sessions. Yep, right, and I really liked how the guide emphasized the idea of fully charging your glycogen stores well before you hit the field. Absolutely. The guide details that for endurance events or high-intensity bouts, athletes should consume anywhere between 3 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight throughout the day. It's all about matching your intake to your activity levels. And it even breaks it down by light, moderate, high, and very high-intensity activities with practical examples based on body weight. That table was a real game changer for visualizing fuel needs. Right. It's like, you could say it's a roadmap for athletes to know exactly how many grams of carbs they need. For example, someone weighing around 180 pounds could need upwards of 654 to 982 grams when they're in that very high intensity range. I love that they also discuss strategic carbohydrate intake before exercise, like having a meal 2-4 hours before an event and then a snack 30-60 minutes prior to maintain energy without risking GI distress. Exactly. Because timing is everything. It ensures your muscles are primed without the risk of an upset stomach. True. Now, shifting gears a little, what about the role of protein as discussed in the guide? There's a common misconception that more protein always means more muscle, right? Yes, that's spot on. The guide reminds us that while protein is crucial for repairing and building muscle tissue, it's not the main fuel for energy during performance. Overdoing protein can actually detract from necessary carbohydrates and fats. Exactly. And they even offer specific guidelines, like 1.6 to 1.8 grams per kilogram for muscle building, or slightly higher if you're in a calorie deficit. It's science meeting practicality. For sure. And they even illustrate how protein should ideally be spaced out across meals, aiming for a minimum of 0.4 grams per kilogram in each meal or snack, so that it's constantly available for muscle repair. Yeah, that's key. And while protein is making its cameo, fats also have a starring role, right? Especially when it comes to lighter or moderate intensity activities. Right. Fat is like fuel for the long haul, providing a slower burning energy source. But the guide is very clear. For peak performance, only 20-35% of your daily calories should be from fats to strike that perfect balance between energy and performance. Absolutely. I have to say, though, I sometimes challenge that point. Some athletes swear by high-fat diets for endurance, but the guide clearly recommends against that for high-intensity sports. Yeah, exactly. And it explains why. Fat burns more slowly. And while it may work for low to moderate intensity exercise, it just doesn't cut it when you need rapid energy bursts. Now what about hydration? That section was really detailed. Oh yes, hydration's a huge deal. The guide states that even a 2% loss in body weight from dehydration can tank performance. It goes over monitoring fluid needs by weighing yourself before and after exercise, and then calculating how much you need to drink to make up for the loss. That practical approach, using weight differences and even checking urine color, really makes it accessible. It's not just chemistry, it's applicable advice. Totally. And the guide emphasizes that sports drinks are ideal because they combine carbohydrates and electrolytes. The ideal mix is about a 6 to 8% carbohydrate concentration with sufficient sodium to match sweat losses. Speaking of sports drinks, the guide really distinguishes between them and energy drinks, warning that energy drinks contain too much sugar and stimulants. Exactly. The advice here is, if you're training hard, lean towards the sports drinks. They're designed to support hydration without causing a gastrointestinal overload, which is so important during prolonged activities.
Absolutely. And it even gives you the math, like for a 140-pound athlete, if you lose 2 pounds during training, you should replace that plus extra fluid to account for sweat, usually aiming for around 48 ounces per hour. That's practical and actionable.
Yes, it's all about preventing dehydration before it even sets in. The key is to drink proactively, not just when you're thirsty, since thirst is often a late cue.
Now, there was also a huge section on recovery nutrition, which I think is sometimes neglected in these conversations.
Definitely. Post-workout or post-competition recovery is critical. The guide recommends that within the first 4 hours of finishing an activity, athletes should aim for 1.2 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram per hour, along with 20-40 grams of protein to kickstart muscle repair.
And they even mention a 3.1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein as a sweet spot for recovery. Sounds like an efficient way to replenish glycogen and support healing muscle tissue.
Exactly. It's like you want to repair and refuel at the same time. Whether it's a chocolate milk recovery snack, a turkey sandwich, or a rice and chicken stir-fry, the emphasis is on balanced meals that carry those key nutrients.
Yeah, that really resonates. And then there's gut health. I found that section super interesting, especially since training your gut seems so innovative yet so essential.
Absolutely. A healthy gut ensures that your nutrition actually works for you. It talks about the importance of probiotics and prebiotics, which help maintain a strong, efficient digestive system. Foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and even fiber-rich fruits and veggies play a part.
Interesting indeed. It really makes you think that it's not just what you eat, but how well your body can process it.
Yep, that's why training the gut is critical for athletes. Gradually adapting to consuming fuels before a competition so you don't get caught off guard by GI distress.
Right, that's a smart strategy. Now, shifting to muscle building, the guide's take really debunks the myth of relying on supplements to build muscle.
Oh, absolutely. It stresses that no supplement can substitute for a solid training and nutrition regime. Strength training, consistent eating, and proper recovery are the foundation.
I agree. And they caution, rightly so, about the risks of supplements. There's a high risk of contamination and even banned substances being present.
Exactly. It's the classic case of if it sounds too good to be true. And sometimes it is. The guide advises athletes to only use supplements that are certified by trusted third parties, and even then, proceed with caution.
Right, no shortcuts. I must admit, I do sometimes wonder if the strict rules on supplements dampen innovation, but when it comes to athlete safety, it's a necessary caution.
True, and it's not just about performance. The health risks, like liver damage or kidney issues from contaminated products, are not to be taken lightly at all.
Exactly. Then, there's a comprehensive section on vitamins and minerals. I really appreciate how the guide underscores that more is not always better.
Right. Because megadoses of vitamins, especially fat-soluble ones like A, D, E, and K, can actually be harmful. The goal is to meet established DRIs, not exceed them, and ideally through whole foods.
And the guide points us to a range of food sources, like fruits, veggies, whole grains, and lean meats, to reliably hit those micronutrient targets without over-reliance on supplements.
Exactly. It promotes using food matrices to get a balanced intake while acknowledging that for some athletes, especially those at risk of deficiencies like iron, consultation with a dietitian is key.
It's a lot to take in, but the bottom line remains clear. Consistent, balanced nutrition supports performance, recovery, and overall health.
Absolutely. Proper nutrition isn't a quick fix or, a fad. It's a strategic investment in long-term performance. From carbohydrates topping up your glycogen batteries to smart hydration strategies and cautious supplement use, it's all there.
Right, can't agree more. You know, it all boils down to personalized strategies, too. Every athlete's energy needs vary widely based on metabolism, activity type, and overall health.
Exactly. That's why the guide always reminds us to consider factors like sweat rates, environmental conditions, and even personal GI tolerance. It's really about knowing your body and planning ahead.
Yeah, that's crucial. And for those busy athletes scrambling between competitions, having a game plan for meal and snack timing, whether it's 3-4 hours, 2-3 hours, or 30-60 minutes before an event, can make all the difference.
For sure. Whether it's a pre-event pasta meal or a quick carbohydrate-rich snack on the go, those strategies ensure that energy levels are maintained and performance stays high.
Absolutely. Well, it's clear that informed nutrition isn't just a supportive element. It's a performance edge. And the more athletes understand it, the better positioned they are to excel.
Precisely. Thanks for this engaging dive into fueling for performance. Remember, folks, nutrition isn't one size fits all. It's tailored, strategic, and an ever-evolving art.
Indeed, thanks for listening.